Hi all, and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're going to go through how to verify that an interface has been called using the .verify function built into the mock framework. And to do this we're going to need an XUnit project with mock installed and of course XUnit. And you can see this here, I'm using mock 4.16.1 and NuGet 2.4.1. I also recommend that you watch my previous video on how to mock an interface, and there should be a card on the screen for this now. So we'll start by creating an interface, and this is what we're going to mock, and we're just going to call it, for now, iFormatter. And this will just have one function, it will return a void, and we'll call it format, and it will take one parameter, which will be a string, and we'll call that string text. Next, we're going to have a class that will call this function, and we're going to call this test class because I'm really good at naming. And this will have a constructor, and in the constructor we will pass in our iFormatter, and we'll create a read-only variable for that. And then we'll just have one class, and we'll make it again be a void. We'll call it test function. And all this will do is actually call our formatter. And for now, we'll call it with the text of text. And now let's move on and write our test for this. So in our unit test class, we'll rename this and we'll call it something a bit better. So we'll call it when calling test function should call iFormatter one time. And now all we need to do in this test is mock our interface. So we will say var formatter mock, and that is equal to a new mock of your iFormatter. And then we will create our test class. So we'll call iTest class is equal to a new test class, and that will pass in our formatter mock, which is, as you might remember, what we said the test class accepts. It accepts an instance of iFormatter. From there, we can say test class dot test function, and if we run that, you know that our test will immediately pass. But this isn't ideal because we're not actually testing anything yet. So what we can do is test that our formatter was called with the correct values. And we can do that using something called verify. So to do this, we'll just say formatter mock, and then we can do .verify, and then we pass in our expression, so t into t dot format, and then this is going to ask you what it was called with. And you can see in our test class, we called it with the value text. So we'll pass in text, and then we'll do a comma, and we can say times dot once. Now, if we call that, we should pass. And to prove that it's working, we can change this times dot once to times exactly 2, which means it should be called twice. And we can see that fail. Now, this is a really simple, clean test, but there's one, not really an issue, but one small caveat with it, is when you do it like this, you must know what this value is. So if we change this back to say times dot once and run it, then we'll see it pass. But if we go to our test class and say the functionality changes or something like that, then we will see this test fail. Now, this, a lot of the time, is something you want to happen, but there are situations where you don't always know what this value is going to be. You know, imagine a situation where you are potentially hashing text, or you've got some other logic which mutates this value. And that isn't ideal because we don't want a test to fail for something like that. And there's a really useful functionality built into mock that can handle this, and it's called it.isAny. And what we can do here is we can replace this text, and we can do it, capital I, dot isAny, and we'll have it accept a type of string, And now if we run that, you'll see it pass, because all it's saying is, well, I don't care what you call me with, as long as it is a string. Now, this is a really, really useful feature, but I advise only using it when absolutely necessary. If you know what this value is going to be in your test case, then you should always use that value. Laziness in programming is considered a good thing, but laziness in tests will eventually cause you issues. But .isAny is really useful when you want to verify that classes have been called and any kind of reference types. And that's it for this video. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.